Lost Reality are going to cause an eclipse because Dr. Sloan says she's picking up signals that she recognizes heading towards the island. She predicts there's going to be an eclipse, but the reading says it is impossible because it is not a natural moon blocking it. Also, the apparatus is now live and it is detecting a circular object spiraling towards the island, meaning there is a giant spaceship the size of the moon just outside the Fortnite island. And we have all seen that giant spaceship. To understand this, we have to go all the way back in chapter 1. Also, leave a like on this video for 5 months of good luck. The very first time we saw anything relating to the Lost Reality was at this very moment. We had this in-game live event where a purple lightning bolt created this purple cube. At the time, we had no clue what this thing was. The only thing we could do with it was bounce on it. After a while, we realized that cube was alive and it was moving. We just didn't know where it was going yet, but every few hours, the cube would start moving. The cube started from paradise palms. It went to shifty shafts, through dusty divots, through the thick forests of wailing woods. Finally, just before the end of the season, it reached Loot Lake. For the very last time in chapter 1, Kevin the Cube flipped right into the water of Loot Lake, and then something extraordinary happened. Kevin the Cube slowly starts melting. This is the very first time in the history of Fortnite parts of the Fortnite map has been corrupted by the Lost Reality. Season 6 is here. This is the season where the Lost Reality corrupts literally everything because the Loot Lake Island is floating in the air. It starts moving around the map, corrupting everything. And when I say everything, I mean literally the locations, even skins like Bright Bomber, who has now been corrupted to Dark Bomber. After corrupting the map, Kevin the Cube starts to destabilize, and that was because of the 0 point. A 0 point destroys Kevin the Cube. Just before Kevin the Cube exploded, the 0 point drifts us all to the in-between. This is the world where the 0 point is from. We were all given a butterfly who rifts us back to Fortnite Island. We find out that the Kevin the Cube was gone, and for the first time in the history of Fortnite, the Lost Reality has been defeated. For the rest of chapter 1, we don't hear anything about the Lost Reality until the black hole event. After the 0 point imploded, we were all sucked into a black hole. Fortnite was literally down for 2 days. People saw random numbers every few hours. These numbers were all codes. There was a message sent by the scientists, and it read out that nothing is now inevitable. This is the first time we hear the word nothing, and people believe that the nothing is in fact the head of the Lost Reality. Also, this nothing is described as a being with no shape. Chapter 2, Season 5, 0 point is exposed because of the Galactus. The Lost Reality sees this as a perfect time to attack. Even though the Foundation has sealed himself inside of the spire to protect the 0 point, a giant mothership appears out of nowhere and destroys it. For some reason, the 0 point is not inside. That is because the Imagine Order has hidden the 0 point. Lost Reality sends their armies of chimeras to find the 0 point. Imagine Order and Lost Reality fights throughout the season for the island. Alien disguised as a human is sent to find out the location of the 0 point. Dr. Sloan, being very clever, finds out about this, makes them believe that the 0 point is hidden inside of the Imagine Order's headquarters. But in fact, Dr. Sloan has hidden bombs under the lab. But to trigger the bomb, you have to be at certain range. So us players has been given that job. We go on the mothership, but this does not go according to plan because a secret is revealed. We find Kevin the Cube inside of the mothership. At that moment, the bombs are triggered and they're about to explode. Dr. Sloan betrays us and reveals to us that she never had an escape plan for us. We find out that there isn't just one cube. There is in fact thousands of cubes. This was the Lost Reality's plan all along? They somehow outsmarted Dr. Sloan. Mothership blows up, and everything that was inside of the mothership is now falling towards the Fortnite island. Final season of chapter 2 is here, and the whole Fortnite map is completely corrupted by the Lost Reality. There are cubes everywhere, there are sideways zombies on the map, and these giant things. All of the cubes meet at the center of the map to form the convergence. Now, the Lost Reality decide to send their second warrior. This time they send the Cube Queen. During the final event of chapter 2, we see the actual power of the Lost Reality. The Cube Queen shoots a light beam into the sky, tearing a giant hole. See, our Fortnite map is protected by this force field, and we cannot see anything beyond this shield bubble. And this is the first time we were revealed outside of the shield bubble. We find out what was causing that lightning that created the cube. Find bunch of Lost Reality motherships in the sky. That is when the Foundation and the Seven flips the Fortnite map. Yet again, the Lost Reality has been defeated. Or has she? Chapter 3 is here. A brand new island ruled by the Seven. A huge war between the Seven and the Imagine Order breaks out. And yet again, another great opportunity for the Lost Reality to attack. This time, they're going to be more prepared and attack while everyone is distracted. The Seven defeats the Imagine Order. There is a huge party on the island, but not for too long because a mysterious creature is watching us. This is the Lost Reality's third warrior. This time, they have given her a superpower to transform anything into chrome. Her name is Herald. Herald uses the power of the reality tree to connect the entire Fortnite map to the tree. This is because she has a huge plan next season. She starts by kidnapping the members of the Seven because the Seven are the only one that can stop her. Fortunately, the Foundation manages to escape, but she kidnaps the Scientist, the Visitor, and the Origin. Since the reality tree is connected to the entire Fortnite map, she attacks the reality tree, turns the reality tree into chrome. This turns entire Fortnite map into chrome, and then she destroys the entire Fortnite map. Chapter 4 is here. We get new organization like the Peace Syndicate. It reveals to us that someone in their group is a mole. This person has hacked into the system and corrupted everything they had on the Lost Reality. We find out that this mysterious person is Highwire, and she's working with Triarch Nox. Triarch Nox was one of the warriors sent by the Lost Reality, along with Serenade. The Lost Reality has sent them to create a distraction on the map. Now that we've got this old temple with bunch of symbols we saw on Kevin the Cube and the apparatus built by Dr. Sloan, has revealed to us that this circular object is spiraling towards the island. Donald Mustard has confirmed that next season theme is going to be the Lost Reality because he posted this image of a red moon. And a red moon is created by solar eclipse, and Dr. Sloan says this isn't the right time to have a solar eclipse, meaning whatever that circular object is not the moon. You'll believe that is in fact the Cube Cradle, which is the mothership of the Lost Reality. If you go to Rumble Ruins, you will see a bunch of these wall art. These wall arts are glowing. That's because the Lost Reality are getting closer, and it looks like this jungle location with old temples might even be one of the Lost Reality's home. And the apparatus, which basically projects the image of space. What you're seeing there, the stars and that circular object, is in fact a live view of what's happening out there in space. What Dr. Sloan's saying is that circular object is not the moon. That could be the Cube Cradle, the mothership of the Lost Reality. Optimus Prime has also warned us that the power that used to protect the Fortnite island is no longer there. Now he's talking about that force field that used to protect us. Because of Herald, it has been destroyed. That was the only thing that was stopping the Cube Cradle and the Lost Reality to enter the Fortnite map. Optimus Prime says that the only person that we can trust is Dr. Sloan. She is the future. Dr. Sloan has already already betrayed us once, so can we trust her? I personally don't think we can. Hopefully next season we are going to see the 7 return to the map, Midas return to the map, because the Lost Reality are going to be here and we are going to need all the help that we need to defeat the Lost Reality.